go! Let's get it! Monday! We're rocking and rolling right now. Get your coffee, get your pancake, get your grits, get your cheese, sausage, egg, whatever you got right now. We hitting you. Hottest morning show for all things Bama football. Bama Vision right here on the Bama Standard Network. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, hitting you right now. First and foremost, shout out to all of the brave men and women that fight to protect our rights here in this country known as the United States of America. It is Memorial Day, so I want to shout out all of the veterans and those that gave their lives, that sacrificed their lives for our freedoms here in this country. So a huge shout out to all of our serving men and women here in terms of the military. But we're rocking and rolling with you right here, Bama Vision. Right now, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith here on the show. Happy to have you all here with us. We got a jam-packed show today. So right now, stop what you're doing, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, get into the live chat, go crazy in the live chat. We're taking your comments, we're taking your questions here at the end. Definitely want to hear from you on today's show. We're getting into Ty Simpson. Why does he make the most sense as QB1 for your Crimson Tide? We'll talk about that. We'll get into Kalen DeBoer and 4 reasons why he will have this year's Alabama team in the college football playoff. We'll also talk about the chemistry behind this year's team. Why is it special? Why does it kind of remind me of the 2020 Alabama team that went on to win a Southeastern Conference championship and a national championship during the coronavirus global pandemic? We'll get into all of that. But first and foremost, we got to welcome in my guy to the stage. It's been a minute. We only missed one show, but it feels like it's been forever since we've had the competent pilot, Herb Ragsdale, the better Ragsdale, Herbo, brother. Happy to have you back in the cockpit, man.
Man, I'm happy to be. I'm not happy to have left the beach, but I am happy to be here for the show. So you got to balance those two out.
So basically, you're not happy to leave vacation.
Correct.
But you are happy to return to work with your boy. Okay, I can accept that.
Yes, sir.
But the fact that, Herb, you didn't take me with you. The fact that you didn't take me with you, Herb.
That's a fair criticism. Well, I'll rectify that next time. But then the people would have missed you too, though. See, so can I take you away from the people? I think that.
Herbo, good point. Good point by you. They're happy to have Herb back here, controlling everything from behind the scenes here. So as always, people, you see that thing behind me right there, and Herb always has one as well. We're brought to you by the illustrious people at whitwheelsports.com. Tidal Towel. This towel starts your mentality as a winning mindset for an Alabama football fan. You have to have this towel. This towel sets the tone. And we want 100,000 of these waving, screaming inside of Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturdays in the fall for this college football season. You go to whitwheelsports.com. That's whitwheelsports.com. If you go there and you use the promo code STANDARD, get yourself a nice little discount, courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standard. Thomas Whitaker, Lavelle Wilson, 2 outstanding guys. They are 10 toes down behind this product because it starts the mentality of an exceptional Alabama football fan, and we are behind it as well. So whitwheelsports.com. Get you that title towel today. But we go into now. We're going to start off with shouting out a few of you guys in the comment section before I get into our first topic of conversation. So let's roll up these first few comments here. Herbo, Bob Rutherford in the building. Give us that RTR with the heart emoji there. Appreciate you, Bob, helping us out here on the show. We got my man Joshua Haney making ground, Vincent, for this week while listening to you, Roll Tide. So Joshua getting that work done while listening to Bama Vision. We got Russell McDaniel. Give us that Roll Tide roll. Appreciate you, Russell. And then Joshua, and then our Kennedy. Well, thank you for acknowledging the veteran, Steve. Absolutely. Happy Memorial Day to all of our brave men and women that sacrifice so much for us here in this country. My dad served 7 years in the Navy. One of my uncles served 25 years in the Army. He actually retired out of the Army. So appreciate all of my family members that have served in our armed forces and all of those who sacrificed their lives for the freedoms that we have today. So thank you to our fighting men and women. Larry Large writes in, somebody say Roll Tide. I'll get to you, Larry. Roll Tide. Appreciate Larry Large being in here today. We got Christian Hughes in the building, Roll Tide. Stephen M. Herb. I finally caught the show live. You did it, Christian. You caught the show live. So appreciate Christian Hughes being a part of the show. We got Link giving us a Roll Tide. Appreciate your Link right there. Herb and Raj podcast. Herb and Raj. Morning, everyone. And Roll Tide. You can actually catch the Herb and Raj podcast streaming right here on the Bama Standard Network. Yeah, got your little plug right there, Herbo. And then Warren Powell giving us that Roll Tide. Appreciate you, Warren, helping us out here on the show. But beginning now, topic one of the conversation. Save your questions to the end as we'll have the Q&A segment. The question being, why Ty Simpson makes the most sense as QB1 for the Alabama football program. And, all offseason, we've had some interviews, we've had some thoughts, we've had some people give their own opinion, their own take in the conversation concerning Ty Simpson. And we'll get to that in a minute. But why Simpson makes the most sense, Herb, I got 3 reasons for you. First one, his knowledge of the system, his knowledge of the culture. When you look at Alabama football, Simpson is the only quarterback on the roster who has time on task. He has never been a starter at Alabama. He's never started a game for the Crimson Tide, but he's the guy on the roster in this quarterback room where there's 3 scholarship guys on the roster. He has the most time on task across 3 seasons, this being his 4th year of the redshirt junior from Martin, Tennessee. He's played in 16 games across 3 seasons, including 6 last year. Now, what he's known the most for, you go back, Herb, to that 2023 game between Alabama and South Florida. Tyler Buckner got to start that game. We all still don't understand why Saban made that decision to throw Buckner out there in 2023 against South Florida, but Buckner got the start. Buckner struggled heavily in that game, and then Ty gets the call to come in off the bench. Ty leads you on multiple scoring drives, helping you put up 17 unanswered points. Alabama wins the matchup 17-3 in South Florida, getting that victory there. But, Ty has time on task. He's got knowledge of the system. He's been under DeBoer for a year now. He's been under Nick Sheridan for a year now. And now you enter Ryan Grubb back into the equation. He's had a spring now with Ryan Grubb. So Ty understands the expectation of Alabama football, right? Because you look at Ty was a part of the Alabama team in 2022 that went to the All-State Sugar Bowl and beat Kansas State, right? He was also a part of that 2023 team, backing up Jalen Milroe, that went to the SEC championship, won the SEC title, got to the college football playoff despite the loss to Michigan in the semifinal round. So he understands the culture of winning in big games. He understands the expectation of Alabama, which is getting to the college football playoff, competing for national championships, competing for conference titles. So he's got time on task. He gets the system. He gets the culture of the program. Number 2 for me is the respect he commands from his teammates and others in the pro or others outside the program, legends that are no longer in the program. So when you talk to teammates about Ty Simpson, their eyes, they get perked up, Herb, because they know with this guy right here, we are about to put up some numbers. With this guy right here, we're about to put up production. With this guy right here, he is going to put us in the best possible situation to be elite, to be effective, to be efficient. Jalen Milroe was immensely talented. I'm not taking anything away from Meal Ticket. Meal Ticket was the guy. Meal Ticket was that dude. Ty Simpson will tell you himself. And he mentioned this, Herb, in a recent interview with Roger Hoover of Crimson Tide Sports Production, or Sports Network, where he said, I wasn't ready at the time to be the guy. I was immature then. I wasn't prepared then. That was the reason why you saw, Jalen Milroe, he comes out there and plays some games. He gets benched against South Florida, but then he comes back against Ole Miss 2023, and he's the starter from there on out because Ty wasn't ready at that point and at that situation. Now he's more so ready. Now he's more so prepared. And you even have people that felt like Herb 2023, after what Ty did against South Florida, he should have been the starter moving forward. You even felt like last year, some people felt like, why hasn't DeBoer pulled Milroe? Why hasn't DeBoer put Ty Simpson out there? Why isn't Ty out there on the field? So you still had some that felt like Ty should have been the starter way before now in the moment that he's in at this very point. However, you look at when you talk to players about Simpson, their eyes light up, the energy shifts, the confidence grows. They know what they're getting with this guy because they're seeing the work that he puts in. Ty Simpson has, ever since spring football ended, he's been in Las Vegas with teammates, working with them this offseason, getting the chemistry with these receivers this offseason, even training with some of the guys for the Las Vegas Raiders. Like, Ty's been there. Ty's been with his group at QB Country, working with those guys. Ty's been putting in time with his dad, Jason Simpson, who's the head coach at UT Martin. So you got all of this going on. So Ty's been putting in work this entire offseason, and the teammates see it, the coaches see it, everybody in the program sees it, but other people see it as well. And we go back to Herb this past spring, after the A-Day game, we saw Ryan Grubb take the podium. And Ryan Grubb, new Alabama offensive coordinator, what did Grubb say? He said, if the season started today, if we're taking on Florida State right now in Tallahassee, Ty Simpson's QB1. He's the guy. With the progress he's made, with the stuff he's been able to do, with the growth he's made in this offense, if we would have played against Florida State right now, Ty Simpson is QB1. And then Kalen DeBoer is in Birmingham last week for the Regions Tradition Pro AM Golf Tournament, and he's met by the panel of the Next Round show, which is WJOX Jocks 94.5 in Birmingham, and they're asking him, hey, coach, we saw your boy, offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. He says after spring football, if the season were to start today, then Ty Simpson's QB1. Well, you're the head coach, DeBoer. Do you feel the same way? And DeBoer is like, Ryan worded it accurately. He worded it correctly. If the season started right now, Ty is QB1. Although, DeBoer wants to see the entire quarterback room do well, the entire quarterback room step up, because what Alabama's trying to accomplish, he wants to see everybody, at their apex. But he did say Ryan Grubb worded that statement correctly. And then you look at A.J. McCarron, who is a former Alabama quarterback, a 3-time national champion, 2 times the starting quarterback, a guy that was the winningest quarterback in the history of Alabama football. He's at the region tournament last week, and people are asking AJ, well, AJ, you're a legend guy. You're a former Tide quarterback. When you say stuff, it holds weight. You are still the all-time leader for career passing yards in school history, 9,019. What is your take on all of this? And AJ said, hey, it's Ty's job to lose, right? Ty Simpson, he's been there. He's done that. time on task, a guy that, the players respect him, the team respects him, the coaches respect him, immensely talented. He's even keel. He gets the expectations. He gets the temperature in the room. This is A.J. McCarron, who, by the way, has a big relationship with Simpson. They both go back to what they do for QB country. So there's AJ giving his thought of approval there to Ty. But I thought the cherry on top, Herb, was Nick Saban. Nick Saban last week at his Nick's Kids Foundation event, he says, Ty Simpson is the perfect example of true development, right? He was with us. He developed, he matured under us for 2 years. This is a guy that is a fine young man, tremendous talent, knows what it takes, can get the job done. But here's the thing, Herb. He said, we are rooting for him. I am rooting for him. That's what Nick Saban said. I am rooting for Ty Simpson. And some people will say, well, Saban's just saying that because Ty is the lone quarterback on the roster that he recruited, that he signed during his tenure at the University of Alabama. Now Coach Saban has transitioned over to TV. And congrats to Coach Saban on winning an Emmy Award for his work at ESPN. But there's a reason why Coach Saban said that. There's a reason. And the reason is he sees the work that Simpson has put in, and he feels like now it's Ty's time. Now it's Ty's moment. Now it's this young man's opportunity to go out there and get it done. So we're seeing this with Ty. But it's not just, the knowledge of the program. It's not just the team and the legends in the room that see this with Ty. People heard they give Ty Simpson the comparison to Mac Jones, and that's a worthy comparison. Waiting your time, waiting your opportunity. You see the comparison between Ty and A.J. McCarron, and that's a worthy one. But I think the big thing for Ty is I see the comp to Jacob Coker. That's the biggest comp I see for Ty, and here's why. Like Coker, Ty's had so many reps as a quarterback. His dad, a football coach. He's been around the game of football his whole life. So Ty has had so many reps from youth football to right now. To the main thing for him is just go out there and play, right? Go out there and play the game that you've been playing your whole life since you were a kid. Go out there and play the game that you love since knee high, and just have fun with it. That was the main thing with Jake Coker, right? Coker had played so much football coming from Little League to high school in Mobile to goes to Florida State, and now went to Alabama. And by the time Coker got to Alabama in 2014, Coker was the backup to Blake Sims. But 2015, he had so much reps mentally and physically in football that sometimes he tend to overthink things. And it was Coach Saban that said, look, man, you've played this game your whole life. Just go out there and play now. And once Coker got the gist of that, we saw the Georgia game in 2015. Coker just took off, right? Had a big game against Georgia in the rain. And Nick Saban walks over to Coker and shakes his hand, which affirming him, you are our guy. You are the man. Go out there and just do it. And from the Georgia game to the Tennessee game, Coker had, some big throws in that matchup that helped Alabama win 19-14. The LSU game, Coker had big throws in that game. The Auburn game, the big touchdown to Ardarius Stewart in that game, and Bama won 29-13. Then you go back to the SEC championship game against Florida, had a marquee performance in that game, helping Bama capture a conference title there. But you look at the college football playoff where Coker just goes nuts against Michigan State, big game. Against Clemson, big game. So when I look at Simpson, he has that Coker comp to where he's played so much ball. It's just time for him to go out there and just play now. It's just time to go out there and just play now. So when you look at Ty, Herb, in your opinion, what in your mind has you feel like, okay, this makes the most sense here when you look at Ty?
So, and we kind of talked about this, I think, on the video. So there were several different things, and you covered it really, really well. I think Ty right now is your best decision maker out there as well. I think he understands the weapons around him. I think he understands, like you even saw, obviously I didn't get to as many practices as everyone else, but even at A-Day, you can just tell the decision making is there. You can tell he's not going to put the ball in harm's way. He understands what he has. I think the game is going to be more balanced with him in there. Let's just be honest. You're not going to have a million QB runs in there. So now that the running backs are going to get fed, they're going to be fine. And an underrated aspect, something you saw from Will Howard in the national championship game. Yeah, you're not going to have, 10, 20 QB runs from Ty Simpson a game, but he's mobile enough to make you pay. I think that's when we go back to the 2020 comp. You never really worried about Mac Jones taking off anywhere, man. I saw that man get hurt on a slide one time. So, but Ty Simpson will be mobile enough to make them pay if they lock down all other areas of the game. So to me, it just makes the most sense, and I think he's going to have a good year.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's going to have a very good year. Really excited to see, what Simpson does with this team, with this roster, with these guys, and with this coaching staff, and in particular with Ryan Grubb calling the plays as the offensive coordinator. But as good as Key Russ is going to be for years to come, as talented as Austin Mack is, when I look at Ty Simpson, I think right now he is the best fit. He is the best option to lead your team to an opportunity to be in that Southeastern Conference championship game, be in that college football playoff, and put yourself in a spot to where you can get into that national championship game. But good first topic there on Ty Simpson and why he makes the most sense. As always, people, you see that thing behind me, you get you a title towel. Go to whitwellsports.com. Do that today. Thomas Whitaker, Lavelle Wilson, two outstanding brothers. They have an incredible product, the title towel. This starts your mentality as an Alabama fan, wanting to win, wanting to dominate your opponent. And we got to have 100,000 of these waving, screaming inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Throw it up. Throw that towel up in the air. Whirl, wave it, twirl it. Like you just don't care right there in support of Alabama football. You go to whitwellsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD. Get you a nice little discount there, courtesy of your favorite Bama network there, the Bama Standard. Go to Title Towel, whitwellsports.com today. You will be glad that you did that. But Herb, we'll transition now to topic 2 of the discussion, and this is one that everybody wants to sink their teeth into right now. 4 reasons why Alabama under Kalen DeBoer in year 2 will make the college football playoff. I actually did an article on this for BamaStandard.com. You go there right now, you click on the article, read the article. 4 reasons why Alabama will make the college football playoff under Kalen DeBoer in year 2. Reason number 1, Herb, the 2024 experience. DeBoer will benefit from that greatly. And I've said this so many times. Coach DeBoer needed that. I know fans look at this and go, did Greg Byrne truly make the right decision? Was Kalen DeBoer really the right hire for the job? We're still unsure. 4 losses in 2024. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. You don't lose to Oklahoma. You don't lose to Tennessee. And for goodness sake, you don't lose to Michigan in the ReliaQuest Bowl. You don't do that thing. So Bama fans want to be made assured that this was the right hire for Alabama to fill in the shoes left behind by one of one, that being Nick Saban. I, for one, stand behind what I've said before. DeBoer needed this. He needed 2024 to happen. He needed to learn what it means to play in the SEC, what it means to play in this conference, what it takes to win in this conference, what it takes to excel in this conference. And at the Regions Tradition Golf Tournament last week, DeBoer came with the understanding of, look, we know exactly where we messed up last year. We messed up in not excelling in the crucial moments, not excelling in the critical moments, shooting ourselves in the foot, self-inflicted mistakes that caused us to play from behind. When Bama played with the lead, DeBoer said we were okay. We were good. Yes, there were some games that probably got close, but when we played with the lead, we were able to regroup, reset, refocus, get some things squared away, pull the win out, right? But when we had self-inflicted mistakes that caused us to play from behind, then you saw the confidence drop some. We didn't know how to execute. We didn't know how to put things together the way they needed to be. And that's where the losses came in to Vanderbilt, to Tennessee, to Oklahoma, and to Michigan. So I think that 2024 experience for DeBoer, he needed that. He needed that as something to grow from, something to build off of, something to learn from, something that he could always pull from and say, hey, last year introduced me to grown man football. I can always go back and pull from, hey, this is something that happened that was negative. Here is how I learn from it. Here is how I grow from it. Here's how I become better from that. Here is something good that happened to me last year from being a part of grown man football. How can I build off that? How can I enhance that even more? So he needed that 2024 experience to make him better. That's number one reason why I feel like he'll be in the college football playoff with this Crimson Tide team this season. Number two, the addition of Ryan Grubb. This means a lot. DeBoer's got his guy. It is something special when you get your guy in the room with you, when you get somebody that you have a lot of experience with, a lot of moments with, a lot of time on task with, somebody who knows what you do, how you do it well, how you excel at it. Ryan Grubb knows Kalen DeBoer like the back of his hand. These two spent time together at Sioux Falls, at Fresno State, at Washington, prior to Alabama. And as much respect as I do have for Nick Sheridan, and I do, Ryan Grubb is an ace offensive coordinator. This is somebody that's going to create matchups. He's going to create situations that are going to put Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Latzia Brooks, Rico Scott, all of these receivers. He's going to put these guys in situations to where they can straight up destroy the opposition on the field. He is going to put the run game in situations where these backs are going to be able to eat on the field. When you talk Jam Miller, Richard Young, Trey Washington, A.K. Deere, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, Ryan Grubb's offense is going to put these guys in situations where they all can be successful running the football, catching the ball out the backfield, pass blocking, all of those things. Having Ryan Grubb in here, this is an offense that's going to excel because he has all the pieces around him. He's got the quarterback around him. He's got the offensive line around him. He's got the receivers around him. I think they'll be able to mix and match with the tight ends to even get that group right. So I think having Ryan Grubb in here, enhancing this offense to where this will be a group that will score 40-plus points a game, that's number two reason why Alabama will be in the college football playoff year two under Kalen DeBoer. Number three, veterans on defense is the reason why Alabama will be in the college football playoff this year. Kane Womack's got veterans on defense. When you look at this defense, Herb, and we talked about it, last year from the Tennessee game to the Michigan game, Bama improved defensively. They did. Bama forced takeaways. They got turnovers. They got negative plays to the opposing team. They made it happen. That 4-2-5 swarm defense, it got better. And then this offseason, to have names like Tim Keenan, to have names like LT Overton, to have names like Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Keon Sabb, Damani Jackson, to have guys like this say, I don't want to go pro right now. I want to come back. I want another year with Coach Womack in this defense. That's a big deal. I want another year in this 4-2-5. I want another year in this swarm. I want another year to put this group in position to win a national championship. It's a big deal. When you look at roster retention and how much of an impact that is now with the transfer portal and with NIL, name, image, likeness. So having those veterans on defense, I keep saying this. This is the year, Herb, for Freddie Roach as the defensive line coach. I mean, he's got dudes. All of these guys are Freddie's guys. He's got Tim Keenan. He's got James Smith. He's got Jordan Renaud. Freddie Roach has Steve Bongo Mbamoa. He's got Edric Hill. He's got Isaiah Faga. He's got Jeremiah Beeman. There's dude on dude on dude on dude in this defensive line rotation where Freddie Roach is concerned. Like this is exciting. I mean, I've talked about this. So I think the veterans on defense and these guys understanding that with this group on paper, it could be a top 3 to 5 group in the nation. I think the veterans on defense have this team back in the college football playoff. That's number 3. And then number 4, Alabama's 2025 football schedule, Herb. The schedule, though it's tough, I look at the games that you lost on the road last year. All of those games are at home this year. You lost to Tennessee on the road last year. You got that game in Bryant-Denny. You should take that game in Bryant-Denny. You lost to Oklahoma on the road last year. You got that game in Bryant-Denny. You should eat Oklahoma alive in Bryant-Denny. You lost to Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt on the road last year. You got Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt in Bryant-Denny. You should win that football game right there. So I'm just saying, you got Wisconsin in Bryant-Denny this year. You should win that game in Bryant-Denny. Yes, you got Georgia on the road, and people have that game circled as, you've been beating Georgia for a while. Kirby Smart's due to get them a win in Athens. We'll see. I think Alabama takes that game in Athens because that game is going to be so hyped up. That game is going to be so pumped up. And whenever there's a game hyped up, pumped up, the build up to it, Alabama typically goes out there and takes care of business. I know you got LSU and Bryant-Denny, and people circle that game and go, should Bama be afraid of LSU? You're not talking much about LSU. That the LSU game was always tough, and it is always tough. But that game in Bryant-Denny, I think Alabama handles business there. You look at that game against South Carolina on October 25th, and people look at, that game's in Columbia. That game could be a whiteout type of game for the Gamecocks. You've got Shane Beamer, who ended last year on a 6-game winning streak. South Carolina had a viable argument to get into the college football playoff, didn't get in. What about South Carolina? Should you be afraid of that football game? That game's going to be good. It's going to be a challenging game. We'll see what happens there. And then, of course, the Iron Bowl, November 29th, you go to Auburn. You go to Lee County. You go to Jordan-Hare and the madness that always takes place over there. But when I look at the schedule, I think it's doable, Herb. I think it's doable with the games that you lost last year on the road, being at home this year, with what DeBoer experienced in 2024. That is going to help him better prepare this team to, hey, we can't sleep on anybody. We can't underestimate anybody. We got to be on our P's and Q's at every given moment. I think the 2024 experience, having Ryan Grubb, the veterans you got on defense, and with this schedule, having the games that you lost last year, you have them at home this year. I think those are the 4 reasons why I see Alabama making the 12-team playoff this time around. Herb, what do you see?
No, I think the first point was my favorite point, and to add on to that, with the experience last year not being good, even Ryan Williams came out and said it. The team hadn't bought in last year. This
He
year,
did say that.
you
He
see the
did say that.
you see the buy-in from them, and I think that's huge. And I think having a terrible last year has made everybody realize the clock is because imagine if we had won one more game, you're 10-2, you make the playoffs. There's a tendency to think, okay, like maybe we're good here. But for Alabama fans, 9-3 regular season, 9-4 at the end of the season, the sky is falling, the stadium is burning down, and now DeBoer's like, am I getting fired in year 2? You know, you can just tell that it's kind of a sense of urgency this year. And I feel like the players, no disrespect to the previous, regime of players, but the newer players are now you saw LT Overton say stuff like, I feel like now I can speak up more this year. I can be more of a voice. The players are ready.
Right.
And last year, Jeremy Bernard, same thing. Like last year was, I ain't gonna say it, but he was not complimentary.
For real. Like Germinator did not mince words. He came out and said exactly how he felt. And it's not just him, and what Ryan Williams mentioned, and what LT Overton mentioned, but you also look at Parker Brownsford now feel like he has a voice. Cam Dewberry feels like he has a voice. Cameron Calhoun, the transfer corner from Utah, mentioned on social media the question of, well, why nobody has hit the portal from Alabama. He said it's a brotherhood. That's why. Like, these players understand there's a real sense of urgency with this team.
Yes.
They get it. Like the last time Bama won a championship was 4.5 years ago during a global pandemic. They understand that. Like, they understand this group, we haven't tasted what a championship is. We don't know what that feels like on a national level. So we have to get that feeling for ourselves. And it starts with a full-on buy-in to Coach DeBoer. And as we mentioned, the 2024 season, it opened everybody's eyes to, we got to walk lock and step with our leader, our head coach.
Agreed. That's why I'm really looking forward to this year. I think that was the first. I think everything else you mentioned was great. Grubb coming back, excellent. With Womack, second year in his system, I love it. And the schedule does set up. If I'm thinking 10-2, we've got 3 tough road games. You at least get one of them, you're good. If you can get 2 of them and you got to win your home games, I think you're fine. But the players being on the same page and admitting they weren't last year, I think that's the biggest catalyst, man. I'm looking forward to next year.
Absolutely. And that right there takes us into, folks, you see what we got here on this wall here. We got the title towel on this wall here, whitwillsports.com. Thomas Whitaker, Lavelle Wilson, love those guys. They stand behind this product. You're an Alabama fan. You're a diehard Bama fan. You got an itch for Bama football. Like, you're addicted to it. Like, it's Bama football or nothing for you. You got to get your hands in this towel. Why? This starts the winning mindset, the winning mentality of every Alabama fan, right? We got to see 100,000 strong of these waving on Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium Saturdays in the fall, showing that support there to your Crimson Tide. You go to whitwillsports.com. That's whitwillsports.com. You click there. You use the promo code STANDARD, get you a nice little discount courtesy of your favorite Bama football, your favorite Bama program, the Bama Standard. Get you that title towel today. Also, hit that like button. Smash the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Get in the comment section. We want to hear from you. Your morning show right here, Bama Vision, the man Stephen M. Smith, and the pilot back today, Herb Ragsdale, behind the scenes here, controlling everything for us. But now we transition into final topic of conversation, that being the chemistry of this year's team and why it is special. And Herb, like you mentioned, no offense to any of the previous teams here. When I look at this Bama team is not one for the what we can do and what we're going to do speeches. Around this time in the offseason, we saw a lot of players. They did interviews with national media pundits. They did interviews with national reputable shows. At this point, now in the offseason, nobody's done an interview, right? Nobody's been on these national shows. These guys have been out here working. I don't know how many of you have been tuning in to Twitter, Twitter X, or TikTok, or anything of social media or Instagram, but no matter where you turn, you are seeing some Alabama player working this offseason. To give you a picture of this, you look at the quarterback room. Everybody in the quarterback room has been working. I saw a photo that Austin Mack put on his Instagram. It's Austin Mack, it's Ty Simpson, it's Kalen Russell. They're all in Las Vegas working with the Raiders. Like those three quarterbacks, they brought receivers with them. Jeremy Bernard was there. Derek Meadows was there. Rico Scott was there. Isaiah Horton was there, among others. And they're working with Geno Smith and a couple of other players for the Raiders. They're out there bonding with those guys. That's big. Then the next day, Herb, you go to social media, what do you see? Ryan Williams is with Devontae Smith. Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith. Ryan Williams is down there in Tampa, Florida with Devontae Smith, training with him and wide receiver specialist Yo Murphy. That's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Ryan Williams gets compared to Devontae Smith a lot because of the size, but that's who Ryan Williams is training with. And it's not just Ryan Williams down there with Devontae Smith and Yo Murphy. Isaiah Horton is down there too, working with both of those two individuals. Then you had Hollywood Williams and Isaiah Horton with the Super Bowl champion John Gruden. They're over there spending time with John Gruden. So you got that aspect. Then you have defensive players, right? Whether it's Kelby Collins, Jeremiah Beeman, Red Morgan. They're with my man Leonard Stevens, Coach L, step-by-step performance training in Birmingham, putting in work. Then you have Red Morgan putting in work with all-in-one training, which is by Justin Woodall, former Alabama safety, 2009 BCS national champion out of Birmingham. Red Morgan's working with him as a DB specialist. Then you've got, my guys. You've got Kelby Collins. You've got Isaiah Faga. You've got T.M. Keenan. You've got Jordan Renaud. They're working with Coach Swift out of Winning Edge O-line, D-line training out of Birmingham. And you got, my goodness, the guys are working everywhere this offseason. They're working everywhere. Like everywhere you turn, you've got several players working with trainers, working with their teammates, working with each other, every spot you turn. You have Oliver Davis II, who's a DB specialist. He's got Xavier Brown. He's got Dijon Lee. He's got Chuck McDonald, a freshman coming into Alabama right now. Like, Herbie, it's crazy. Like, everywhere you turn, these guys are flat working. They're not sitting down. They are flat putting in the work because they know the urgency of wanting to get back to the college football playoff, the urgency of wanting to win a national championship again, the urgency of not allowing national media to talk anybody else above Alabama football. It's crazy. I go back to the defensive line for a minute, and this is Coach Freddie Roach here. Freddie Roach has got, you got James Smith and Quay Russaw down there with Madhouse Training in Montgomery putting in work. And James Smith looks like a Terminator down there right now. Quay Russaw looks like Captain America down there right now. I mean, like I said, you got James Smith, Quay, Jordan Renard, Jeremiah Beeman, Isaiah Faga. I mean, all of these guys are working. Freddie Roach has got dudes. He's got dudes working. Like, this is why the Bama fan base is so excited to see what this defensive line can do in terms of shutting down the run, but also generating sacks, right? This is a big year for Freddie Roach where this defensive line chemistry is concerned. When you go to guys like Maurice Linguist, who's the cornerbacks coach, as I mentioned, you've got Xavier Brown working with Oliver Davis, DB specialist. You've got Dijon Lee and Chuck McDonald working with him. When you look at Red Morgan, who's with not just Coach Ed, but like I said, Justin Woodall training on his stuff as a defensive back. I mean, these guys are flat working, man. And I go back to the documentary that's out right now on SEC Network called All In, taking you behind Alabama spring practice. Jamarian Latham spoke on that documentary. Latham is the only player on this team that has a national championship ring going back to 2020. And Zebo Latham, former four-star in that 2020 class, Latham says this team carries the vibe of the 2020 national championship team, the same vibe. And people asked Latham, why did you say that? Well, why do you feel like this team carries the same vibe as 2020? He said, man, everybody's out there working, man. The urgency, the hunger, dude, the urgency of wanting to win. He said, the players are connected with the coaches are connected with the players. There's just a desire to want to win and want to win again. Like, we were excited to get back that championship feeling again. Like, these guys are working. Like, they are seriously putting it in. Like, when you got Cam Dewberry, who said on the Bama Standard show on this network, we're ready to just light people up. Like, yeah, Cam Dewberry, we're ready to light people up. When you had Rock Montgomery on this show, this network not too long ago say, hey, you know, we for real. Like, we are for real. Like, what Dave Ballou is doing, what these coaches are doing, how we're going about these workouts, like, we for real. When you have Ryan Williams saying, I should have been, a part of this team last spring, because the chemistry that we have now, we didn't have it last spring. We got some serious chemistry, about each other right now. And I go back to the 2020 team, Herb. If you remember, this time around back then, we saw videos of Mac Jones putting in work with Slade Bolden. We saw videos of Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and John Mechie down there training with different guys. We saw videos of defensive players and offensive players down there working, putting in the effort, even with a global pandemic going on, and you had 6 feet, and you had social distance, and you had mask mandates, and you had all of these things going on. You still had those particular Alabama players saying, bump that, I'm putting in this work because I know we got to get to a championship. We got to win. And to see that same mentality resurface with this year's team, Herb, that's nice to see that. I mean, what are your thoughts there, Herb, on that?
Let me, sorry. No, I love what we've been seeing. Like you said, man, one of my favorite was, let's be honest, Ryan Williams working with Devontae Smith, because I think Smith is much better route runner. So I think getting those lessons, but it also is an amount, a special amount of humility you're seeing from the guys as well when they do stuff like that. When you go to somebody else and say, hey, look, you're one of the best. Like, what can you teach me? What can you show me? Like, I just want to get better, because let's be honest, soon as the 8A game, it would be very easy to fall off for a little bit there, kind of disappear, go in a hidey hole, maybe take a little time off. It would probably be very, very easy to do it. But the fact that you're seeing it, and then there's several players out there, because somebody asked the other day, like, we're not seeing much of Ty Simpson on social media, but you already know where he is and where he's working. You know,
They've
the
been
reports are out
working.
there if you look. Yeah, so some of them are publicizing it, some of them aren't, but you know the team is locked in, man. So I love to see it. I really, really love to see it.
And that's the best thing about it is you don't have to post everything on social media.
Yes.
You go out there and just work. Go out there and just work. And the fans will see it soon enough that, hey, that's the reason why he wasn't posting like crazy, because he was out there putting in the effort. He was out there putting in the grind. He was out there putting in the the layers, making sure that what is being done needs to be done out there to put his team in position to win a championship, to put his team in position to make the playoffs. So,
Oh, and Steven, if you're not putting in the work, you're falling behind. And that position that you thought you had, you're in a heartbeat.
And I'll say this, Herb. Part of this team chemistry is these young freshmen coming in here.
Yes.
Part of this chemistry. These young freshmen, they taking your job.
Yes.
They don't care. They want to win. Like you look at that. That's part of it. Part of this team chemistry and part of this work that we're seeing is guys like Key Russ, who comes in saying, I'm trying to do something special. I ain't trying to ride the bench. You know, part of this chemistry, part of this work, you look at Latsier Brooks coming in here. Whose spot can I get? Part of this chemistry, part of this work, you look at, guys like Micah DeBoer, Michael Carroll, and Jackson Lord on the offensive line. Whose spot can I take right here? Part of this work is these young freshmen coming in here hungry, wanting to win. Agreed. They want to be champions. They want to be dominant. They want to be successful, and it's turning up the heat on a lot of these veterans because they're thinking, hey, if I'm not out here on my stuff, I'm going to be riding this pine because this young tiger right here, he ain't playing.
Yeah.
He ain't playing. Yeah. And that's what made Alabama great in its run under Saban was you had starters, but those backups were just as good. Jonathan Allen had to be on his A game because if he wasn't, Quentin Williams was ready to take his cookies. Like Quentin Williams was right there ready. Like you had to be at your apex. That's why Jerry Jeudy had to be at his, because Jerry Jeudy knew that Jalen Waddle back there, if I'm not on mine, that Waddle back there is going to take it from me. This is the reason why coming back, your guy, Herb, Keon Sabb's got to be at his best, because Sabb knows that Ivan Taylor, that Ivan Taylor, that Zay Mincy, you got some guys back there that if I'm not coming back on my stuff, I'm gonna be watching from behind. So
yes, sir. You're right.
We're back to having an Alabama program where there's competition. There's competition at every spot. There's competition at every factor, and you got to be at your best. Because if you're not at your best, the competition is going to come up from behind and grab your spot, and you're going to be left wondering, the world happened. You slept, and the competition came from right up under you and took your spot. So I think that's why the team chemistry has been special this offseason is you've got competition is back all across the board, but a sense of urgency and understanding we got to get back to winning in terms of Alabama football. But, folks, as always, you know what time it is. You get that title towel, man. You got to get that title towel. WhitwillSports.com. You go to WhitwillSports.com there. This starts off the winning mentality for every Alabama fan. If you're trying to win, if you're trying to have that encouragement for your team, get yourself this towel, have it twirling, waving in the air like you just don't care, and support of your Alabama football program. You go to WhitwillSports.com. You click on the promo code. You use the promo code Standard. You get you a nice little discount there, courtesy of your favorite Bama network, the Bama Standard. Appreciate those guys there, WhipWillSports.com. But now it's time for everybody's favorite thing of the day, Q&A. We get the questions from all of you, the incredible Alabama fans checking us out today on Bama Vision. So, Herb, let's roll these up. Number one, we got Son is in here. Let's go. Dropping in that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate that from Son writes in. A lot of great voices in the world of Bama football, but Stephen M is the one I trust the most. Son, I appreciate that love right there. Do my best, man. Do my best to give you Bama fans what you guys crave for, just the Bama content. Russell McDaniel writes in, it's Caden Proctor going to lose weight. Caden Russell is fine. He's 360 pounds. Like, he's a big man. Footwork has gotten better. Technique has gotten better. Caden Proctor is fine, Russell. He's fine. He's fine at left tackle. He's fine. He will show everybody this season he's the guy at left tackle. Proctor's okay. He's fine. Appreciate Russell there for his thoughts right there, though. Herb and Raj podcast. Are all of the players already backing Ty, or will that come over time? I think a lot of them are already backing Ty. Several of them are already backing Ty. Now, of course, you like all your quarterbacks in the room. You should respect all of your quarterbacks in the room. But the majority of those guys are already backing Ty as the starter. So I'm excited to watch this upcoming season with this team, with Simpson there at the helm. It's going to be fun to watch. But a lot of those guys are already backing Ty Simpson. Let's see here. Kenneth writes in, here's a curveball for y'all. Did Alabama waste Milroe's talent with the 3 different coordinators we got? Why or why not? Kenneth, that's a good question. So you started off with Bill O'Brien from Milroe. Then you had Tommy Reese, who got a great deal out of Milroe 2023. And then you had Nick Sheridan last year. You could say that. I mean, you could. I mean, Herb, jump in here. Could you say that Milroe's talent was wasted with the 3 different coordinators? Could we say that?
I think you've got 3 individual things going in. Bill O'Brien wanted him to be a running back, so that was never going to work. Tommy Reese brought in Tyler Buckner. That's who he wanted to be his quarterback. So that's the only reason why Buckner was here. It's the reason why Buckner got a start. That's the reason why you didn't see things really improve until later on the year when Tommy Reese realized, okay,
my guy is my
guy. Yeah. So Milroe's my guy, so I might need to start working with him. Because Milroe even talks, glowingly about Reese and their time together. So I don't know about a waste, but it did take time for them to buy in. And I think when Sheridan got here, I think it was a mismatch of what the coordinator wanted to do with Milroe's skill set. And I just don't know that he developed enough as a passer for Sheridan to do certain things that he wanted to do. So I don't think having 3 coordinators helped at all. That's a lot to go for with a guy with a very specific skill set who needs developing in certain areas. I don't think he got that at all. His first 2 coordinators didn't believe in him all for at least a year and a half, though.
Right. But the good thing about Milroe is he's in the NFL now, and definitely want the best for him with the Seattle Seahawks. And I think Seattle is already starting to get very excited about Milroe and what he's been able to do, what he was able to do throughout rookie minicamp. So I'm excited to see what he does there in the league. But appreciate Kenneth there for that thought. Joshua Haney, how is the running back room looking? How is Keelan looking? Running back room looks great. I mean, you got Jam Miller, you got Richard Young doing their thing. I think Dre Washington's going to surprise some people. I think Daniel Hill is going to surprise some people. A.K. Deere, Kevin Riley, everybody is fitting in where they need to be at in the room. I think the running back room is the one room where you don't need much concern for, because you got 6 guys. You got depth. You got guys that can do a little bit of everything. So running back room looks good. Keon Keeley finally really comfortable in what he's being asked to do from a field side bandit defensive end spy, and that's get after the quarterback. Keon Keeley's looking comfortable. It looks a whole lot better. I'm expecting a good year from him in this rotation. He's going to get out there. He's going to get work. I'm expecting a good year from Keenly. Appreciate Joshua Haney for his question there. Joe Edwards, do you think Mbakwe will transfer if he does not get the playing time he expects? You could see it. You could see it because of the fact that he switched from cornerback to wide receiver, right? When he was starting to really grow at cornerback, he switched to be a wide receiver. And I don't know if that was written in terms of his NIL. He could get more NIL if he played both. I don't know what that whole ordeal was, but Bama is deep at corner. Bama is deep at wide receiver. Maybe, possibly the Tide has packages for Mbakwe in the offense as a receiver. We'll wait to see the season, but I would think they would have to have some packages for him. If I were him, I would get it done on special teams, kickoff return, something. But I think, Herb, that there's got to be a package in there for Mbakwe in terms of the offense.
Yeah, I think so. But I honestly, your other point, I think he's going to have to get work on special teams. I think him trying to split duties has probably made him fall behind on both sides. So
Yeah.
unless he gets a special package, I think, we saw him working a returner at A-Day. I see him getting more than that and maybe them keeping out there to try to keep him a little more invested in the game. But we're deep at the other two positions now.
I'm just saying, because at this point, if you're Mbakwe and you really want to play receiver, your hope is that, okay, Isaiah Horton and Jeremy Bernard have really big years.
Yeah.
So that they both go off to the NFL in 2026. And that creates room, for me in that receiver, room there. So that's the main hope for Bach right now, because you're deep at both spots at receiver. You're deep at defensive back. It's tough on Bach right now. It's tough on Bach. I mean, he can be a kick returner, and I would love that for him. But if you're looking at solely wanting to play receiver or solely wanting to play defensive back, the change that you made leaving the cornerback room when you were getting better at that position, it's got really deep now. But does he transfer, to answer Joe Edwards' question? I could see it if he doesn't get the playing time he expects, but we'll see how the coaching staff goes about playing this card here. Appreciate Joe for his thought. Next question. Kenneth writes in, can Lawson improve his draft stock this year? He was struggling even before he got hurt. I think D-Law can. I think with him, the question being, does D-Law go to Sting line? Does he move from Mike linebacker to Sting? Because Justin Jefferson being back, Justin Jefferson can play Mike. He can be that green dot communicator, even with his sideline quickness, lateral quickness, to where he can shoot gaps and make plays. Justin Jefferson can be the green dot communicator. He can be the signal caller, and you can put Lawson at that Sting backer position if you want to do that. But I think with him coming back healthy from a leg injury, he can improve his draft stock. I think he can. And then you've got Nakai Hill-Green, the transfer who you picked up from Colorado. He'll play a critical role in this defense. But I think D-Law coming back from injury, I think he'll be able to improve his draft stock there, especially he comes back with the mentality of he's set to get down the business there. But appreciate Kenneth for his thought there on Lawson. We got Joe Edwards back. Will Red Morgan get more serious playing time this year? Red has added muscle. He's added weight to his frame. He's added muscle. Red is so versatile. Red can play corner. Red can play Husky in this nickel package as a nickel corner. Red can play safety. This comes down to, where does Kane Womack, Maurice Linguist, and Jason Jones, that's the safeties coach, where do they see Red most prominent? Because he's so versatile. When they get a spot where Red is most prominent in the scheme, then that's where I see Red really taking off. The guy's a versatile dude, can play a litany of positions, but it's about where do they see Red most prominent. But appreciate Joe Edwards for his thought right there on one Red Morgan. Southern Red has this one for me. Stephen M., can you make me feel better about our special teams? I'm not hearing much about our new kicker specifically. Special team, Southern Red's going to be fine. Connor Talty's the guy. I think with Connor, he kind of had the Will Reichert thing in terms of when Will Reichert first came in, he said, "Hey, I'm going to fix the kicking woes." And then Reichert came in, and the special teams coach Jeff Banks almost ruined Reichert in terms of injuries. And then when Reichert finally got healthy, we saw, oh yeah, he's the real deal. And he had that quiet confidence about himself. I look at Connor Talty, 2023, he wasn't quite ready when he first came in. Last year he was more so used on kickoffs. I think now Talty's prepared. He's prepared. He's set. He's ready to go. He's increased his leg strength, his leg accuracy in terms of long range kicks there. I like Talty. I think Talty Southern Red's going to get this done from the kicking aspect. But appreciate Southern Red there for her question coming into the show. We got Jay Walker writes in. This one's for you, Herb. Herb, I have 5 premium cigars for a signed title towel. So, Herb, get in here. Jay Walker's got 5 premium cigars for you for a signed title towel.
I was like, Jay Walker, you getting the worst of this deal, buddy. But you see me out, we will make this happen. I always carry an extra one anyway. I always tell people the first person to see me at a game or something, I'm giving you a title towel. But if you're throwing in cigars, I'll keep an extra one away for you, Jay Walker.
There you go, Jay. Herb on the pallet and told you in first, man. You got them cigars. He got the towel for you. Appreciate Jay Walker for his thought here on the show. Kenneth, is Freddie Roach pigeonholed by Womack's 3-man front? I think Womack and Freddie have gotten a bit more of an understanding of having more 4-man fronts here for this upcoming season. I think Womack and Freddie have gotten more of a connection on, okay, let's do more of a 4-man front. Because we did see a lot of 3-man fronts last year when the opposition was running the football, and that hurt Alabama quite a bit there. So I think the communication between Freddie Roach and Kane Womack is, hey, bro, let's get more 4-man fronts, especially when the opposition is going to a run play. So that's been more so ironed out there by those two for the upcoming season. Appreciate Kenneth there for that thought there on the show. Let's see. Here's up the next one here, Herb.
I'm giving 2 of them to you at the same time because they're centered around the same thing. So
okay, let's go here. Let's go here. So Christian Hughes writes in, Stephen Herb, is it too early? Who do you possibly see as QB2? We are going to look at Key Russ as QB2. Yeah, Keegan Russell. Will we see significant from Sun? Will we see significant playing time from the second string quarterback? What do you like at that position? I think Bama does see significant playing time from the second string guy just because you're always preparing for the future. And I think that guy will be Keegan Russell. I think Key Russ is just immensely talented. He's been working also this offseason. So Ty Simpson, I feel like it's going to be the starter, but you will see Key Russ get in there in a lot of situations. He'll get playing time. This kind of goes back to Herb 2017 for me, where Jalen Hurts was the starter, but you saw a lot of Tua Tagovailoa. You saw a lot of Tua, and that prepared Tua for that national championship game where Georgia was so prepared for Hurts that Tua threw a major curveball, right? Because of how prepared he was, the amount of reps that Bama got for Tua. So I kind of see the same thing here. Ty Simpson, the starter, but you'll see a lot of Keegan Russell. Appreciate Son, and Christian Hughes giving us that questions right there. Joshua Haney, who do you think has the most receiving yards and how many around? And also, who do you think will have the most rushing yards and how many? Good question there. So the most receiving yards, ooh, this is going to be a tough one. The most receiving yards, I still go Ryan Williams at about 850. Ryan Williams about 850. Most rushing yards. Most rushing yards. Let's go Jam. Let's go Jam Miller about 700. Herb, did you feel the same way there?
Yeah, I keep wanting to pick my boy Horton as my dark horse for most yards just because, but it's hard to go against Ryan Williams. I think you're going to get more splash
No,
plays.
you know what? I will go Horton best yards per catch average.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think he's going to be a star out there. I love his potential. I think we get 2,000-yard receivers, but I love Jeremy Bernard, so it's hard for me to say. But I think it's Ryan Williams and one of Bernard or Horton is going to get you 1,000. I do not think we see a 1,000-yard rusher, although I think Jam probably hits in the 800s. But I just think that running back room is so deep. We're going to at least 5 deep, and a couple of those guys are special situation guys too. So Jam, I think, gets the most, but I don't think we see a 1,000-yard rusher. But I think you see prominent things from all 5 of those guys. So.
Good point there coming from Herb. Appreciate Joshua Haney for his question here. We'll roll in the final one. My guy, Larry Large. Prediction on defensive turnovers this season. Okay. So, Larry, here's my prediction on defensive turnovers. I think Bama gets 17 picks. I see 17 interceptions. I see 5 fumble recoveries. So give me 22 turnovers, 17 picks, 5 fumble recoveries. Now, of those 22, how many of those go back for touchdowns? Let's go 5. Let's go 3 pick sixes. Let's go 2 fumble returns for touchdowns. That'll be for me right there. Let's go 22 turnovers total, 17 picks, 5 fumble recoveries, and let's go 5 of those return there for touchdowns. So that'll be my guess right there. Herb, if I'm right on that, and we come back, and I end up being right on that, I think I'm gonna owe myself a steak if I'm right on that. But I mean, I could be a Vegas handicapper if I felt like it, but 22 turnovers. Let's go 17 picks. Let's go 5 fumble recoveries. Let's say 5 of those things return for touchdowns there. So we'll go that number right there. But as always, Bama Nation, we appreciate all of you guys for your questions, for you being a part of the best morning show on the planet right here, Bama Vision, every Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time here on YouTube, Bama Standard Network with your man, Stephen M. Smith, the better pilot, Herb, better Ragsdale right there, flying the plane this morning, being back here from vacation here. We appreciate you guys. I guess we'll look at these final 2 questions here. One from Michael, who leads the team in sacks? Who leads the team in sacks? I would go Quay Russo here. I think Quay is going to end up leading the team in sacks. He's dropped 10 pounds. He's gotten a little bit more agility. So I go with Quay Russo leading the team in sacks. In open windows, who will be our biggest challenge this year? That's a good question. Biggest challenge, I'm going to go with South Carolina. Some people may say Auburn. Some may say Georgia. I'm going to go with South Carolina as the biggest challenge here for the upcoming season. But appreciate all of you guys. You guys can follow me on Coaching M. Smith right here on Twitter, X, Coaching M. Smith right there. You can also follow me, BamaStandard.com, putting out articles here for the Bama Standard. You can follow me on the Bama Standard Network on Mondays right here, Bama Visions at 9 a.m. You can follow me, Bama Standard Show on Tuesday, 6 p.m. with the Tribal Chief, Justin Riley, along with everybody else, Steve Brown, Marvin Constant, Gerald Smoke Dixon. You can follow me Sunday Night Talking Bama, JB, JT, the pilot Herbo, Herb Ragsdale. That's me right there. But the better man you need to be following is the pilot. So, Herb, how can they follow you and Raj and everything going on there?
Go check us out, Herb and Raj podcast on YouTube. You can check out all our videos. Raj, to his credit, I hope he's not listening because I'm going to give him a compliment. All right, he's not listening. He's been putting out some good content lately. Don't tell him I told you that, though, but it's been good.
Raj, nice to Raj? Oh, my gosh.
So every Tuesday night you can catch us. And like you mentioned earlier, we're streaming right here live on the Bama Standard. 8 p.m. Central Time. A little bit different too. We're checking out the competition. LSU fan up on deck, Jaylee Joy. If you've seen her posting, so we're gonna get into insight. Am I overlooking LSU a little bit this year? So we'll see a little bit about them and hear about Nussmeier. And then Saturday nights, 7:30, we grab a little sip of bourbon, talk whatever sports comes to mind and whatever questions everybody has out there. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. And folks, also, we have so many other shows on the network. They're right there at the bottom of the ticker. So not just Bama Vision. You got the opening kick on Mondays at 7 p.m. with Daniel Petty, with Gerald Smoke Dixon. You've got Crimson Dynasty on Wednesdays with C.She Hotlanta Payne, Dan the Man James, my man JB. Just so many outstanding shows on the network. They're right at the bottom there at the ticker. So check them out. We got a different flavor for you every single day. And as always, today being Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day to all of our brave fighting men and women sacrificing their lives to give us the freedoms that we have here in this country. And we also remember our fallen heroes on this day that gave their lives, for this country, this great country known as the United States here of America. But till next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You guys be good, be blessed, enjoy your day. And as always, roll tide, people.